Yes. Hi, everyone. A very good evening. I hope that all of you are doing good. I was waiting for all the participants to join. Then only I want to start the class because otherwise we'll not be able to complete. Everyone will not be able to understand that what they are doing. Okay. So very good evening. I hope I'm clearly audible to all. Can you please just confirm it to me? Is it fine? Is it okay? Am I clear? Am I audible? Great. So very good evening. I hope that all of you are doing good. Let me just quickly share my screen and show you that what we are going to do in this class. First of all, in the previous class, we have done the few functions like call, apply, bind. We have also done this keyword. There is one practice question which is left for this topic, that is arrows and function. How to use arrow functions with this keyword. That is what I'm going to tell you in this class. And apart from this, we are also going to work upon another topic of day 4, that is to understand the prototypes, right? So this is what we are going to cover. Let me just paste it here. Yes, we'll be talking about understanding prototypes, prototype chain, and inheritance, prototypal inheritance versus ES6 classes. That is what we are going to cover in this, right? So this is the topic for today's class. I hope that all of you are doing good, all of you are well, and let's particular start with the topic today, right? Okay. So let me first talk about this arrow function and the usage of this operator with this so that we can understand in a better way, right? So very first thing, if I'll talk about what is an arrow function, okay, and what is the purpose that we use, this is very important for us. So whenever I say that what is an arrow function are the shorthand way to write the functions in the JavaScript. We write the functions in the JavaScript to call any content as many as number of times. We know this is the reason for which we use functions. But there is a shorthand way that we use. I'll give you the example in which I clearly state the difference between arrow function and the manual function or that we use, that how they are easy to understand and how they are typically to write. So they are a shorthand way to write the functions in the JavaScript, which has been introduced in ES6 2015, right? So simply what actually we use in a JavaScript, like we define a very simple example is we use a keyword. I'll define a function. Let's suppose the function name is add. So what we do actually, we just write this kind of syntax to define our function. Like you see here, I've defined a variable in which this is actually my function, right? This is actually my function which I'm highlighting, which takes two parameters. And this is the expression I'm using. So this is the expression which I'm generally assigning to this function, which has two parameters a and b. And for this, we are using the name as add, which is nothing but just equivalent to same thing. Like we write function add a comma b, and in that we define our expression, if I'm not wrong. I hope I'm clearly audible to everyone. Can you please just confirm it to me? I hope I'm audible to all the participants in the class. Perfect. That's great. So this is a normal function, manual function that we write function name, the arguments, and then it returns this A and B, right? Okay. Now this is the arrow function. That is a shorthand way to write the functions in the JavaScript using these arrows only, right? We need not to define these curly brackets. We simply define this with the data type, with parameters, and assign it. Major features, yes. One is shorter syntax that we define, and we have an implicit return with this, okay? Because we do not have any curly brackets here, right? That is what we use. So arrow function does not have its own this operator, this keyword that we have used, right? Instead, it captures from its surrounding syntax context. So this is the purpose that we use arrow functions. I'm going to give you one example in which you will understand the difference between this with this HTML code, right? Okay. I hope you understand with the definition what I was talking about. So let me just define an example to make it more clear to you guys. Okay, so I'm just pasting it on the another sheet. So let me use the HTML code here. I hope this is visible to everyone. Can you just please clear it to me? Is it visible to all the participants in the class? The screen? Perfect, great. So I've simply defined this. So what we are doing here is we are using arrow functions. I'm just writing my title and this. Okay. This is the body part where we actually have to write the script. So before the script, I would also like to take two buttons. I hope you know what are buttons, right? Okay. We use simple button tag. Okay. And let me just define an ID. One is I would like to take for regular button. This is just a name which I'm giving to differentiate between a normal manual function and a arrow function. Okay. This is the reason I'm taking two buttons. Okay. Is it fine? This is the reason I'm taking these two buttons. Is it okay? So one, I'm defining it for regular function. One, I'm defining it for arrow function. Okay. These two buttons, and I'm going to write the script for these two buttons. Script because I want to add some functionality. This is the reason. So in order to get any data from this button, I hope you guys know that we use document dot get element by ID because we are using ID here, right? In order to get the data from a HTML page, we use get document.get element by ID, by class. There are various methods that we use, but I hope that you guys are aware about this also. Is it okay? So document.get element. So I've defined two buttons. For two buttons, I have ID and I'm trying to assess the data by element by ID, right? So one ID I have is this regular button. And similarly, I would also like to take the data from arrow button also. Which name I have defined, you can define with any name. It's totally fine. There is no problem with that. Okay. So let me define two constants. Again, two constants. I'm defining two variables I'm going to define. Is it okay? With the constant keyword. And for this, I'm defining a variable regular button. And this is arrow button. Okay. Two variables. You can take any name. It's totally fine. Right? This is just for reference I'm using. So we have taken two buttons. From two buttons, I'm trying to assess the data and I'm storing in two variables. And I'm storing in two variables. Very simple. Which name I have defined. Now I'm going to define the script, the functionality. I'm going to add the event listener for regular button. Okay, first of all. That means once I'm going to click on this button, what functionality it is going to perform, that I'm going to write in this example. Okay. So my variable name is regular button. Okay. This is my variable name. From this variable name, I'm going to add event listener. I hope you also know that what is the functionality of event listener, right? Add event listener. This is the inbuilt function that we use. Whenever from a button, we need to like add functionality. Like I'll click on that. How the button is going to know that it is going to click. This is the reason we use add listener. So what I'm going to do on the button, I'm going to click on the button. So my event listener is click so that this knows that I'm clicking on the button and I need to do what. So this is the normal function I'm describing. Okay. In the normal function, I'm going to describe the body also. You see here, In the event listener, in the event listener, there are the parentheses start from here and it has two parameters. One parameter is the event listener that is click, and once I'm going to click on that functionality, I'm writing inside that. Is it okay? Functionality. What functionality I need to perform? Let's suppose I need to say here console.log. It's regular. Okay. Just simply I'm writing it's regular. Okay. So that I know it's this is the difference, right? And one more thing, console.log. I'm using this and that. Okay. That will perform window operation. Once this button will be clicked on the window, right? And I want this dot style dot. I think we can do background color if I'm not wrong. Background color. We can change the background color also, right? Simple we want. So let me have light blue color. Is it okay? And we are going to put semicolon, right? So in the regular button, I've added an event listener. Once I'm going to click on that, the functionalities on the console, it is going to print regular. Then on the console, this is going to capture the global variable that my window. This we have used for the reference. And for this, I'm styling the background color as light blue. Is it okay? This is what I'm doing. Very simple thing that I'm using. I hope that this is fine, right? I can also add one more thing if I want, or just for my text, right? For encoding purpose. Okay, unified text coding that we are using to define. It's not required also, it's totally fine. Just doing it for the purpose in case it needed. Now I need to add the functionality for arrow button also. Now arrow button variable is this one. Dot, I again need to do add event listener. So again, what is the event listener? Again, the event listener is click only, right? Now I'm going to define the function that is event now. Okay. What event that we are going to do? This is I'm defining in an arrow function. Now that simply I'm using arrow. You see here, I'm not defining this as a function parenthesis. I've just written event. I'm using the arrow and now I'm defining the function body. Same thing. I'm writing console.log. This is arrow button I'm writing. Is it okay? Then again, I'm going to do what? Console.log. Again, this same thing I'm doing. Then again, I'm going to do event because my function name that here what we are defining in this is event, right? Event dot target dot style. We want to do styling of background color. And let's suppose I would like to have light green. Okay, this is what I'm defining. So my body is done, parenthesis close, semicolon. This is my arrow function, right? So when I'm going to click on the regular button, this points to the button, this. Now, this points to the button. That button is wherever it is present. This button only on the window where it is available. But in arrow, there is no this. This doesn't point to the button. It stays in the window global object. So we have used event.target means wherever I click, once you click on that, it is going to give light green color. Is it okay? So let's try out this example. Let me open the browser. Let me share my screen with all of you. Yeah, I hope it's visible to you guys. Can you see that? Is it visible? Is this? Now, this is my regular function. I've used this. This works in the regular function. Similarly, I click on that, light blue color has appeared, which we have mentioned on the background of that function. Is it okay? In the arrow function, we also added event listener. And what we have done, we have used event.target style. So event.target instead to we have used to style the clicked button, which stays on the global object, right? So now if I'm going to click on the arrow function, I am getting that. Is it okay? Can you see that? I'll refresh that. I'll get that. Is it okay? Can you see that? So it is a shorthand property that we use, right? What it is, this is a shorthand property. You see, I'm not defining function. I'm not defining anything in that. Same process we are using, but here we are using even dot this target. Is it okay? When you click regular function button, that this keyword we have defined, that is actually pointing to the button. Which button? This regular button that we have defined. Is it okay? But when you click on arrow function button, it is not going to point to this button. Okay. This actually points to the, it stays as a window global object. So when it says there, we use even dot target instead, right? To click the, to style the clicked button. Okay. So this is what the difference between arrow function and the normal function, manual function, that or regular button, or regular function that we use. Is it okay? Does it make sense to you guys? Is it fine, all of you? Any kind of doubt, confusion that you have? There are the 15 participants present in the class. Can you just please give me the response? Yes, I'm waiting for others. Does it make any behavior change in the buttons? No, Ankita. Shorthand property that we use. No behavior changes. But this is only pointing to button. Here this, it is pointing to the entire window that we are talking about. It remains globally available. Here, this remains in local variable only, means there only. Yes. Is it okay with everyone? Do you understand that? Shall we proceed further with the topics? Adarsh, Ankita. And there are other participants also. Ayush, Uma, Viknesh, Vishwash, Ankit, Bobby, Lakshita, Adarsh. Okay, that's perfect. Great. So the next thing that we have to work upon, yes, understanding prototypes. Now, what is prototype? Very first thing that we need to learn. Okay, let's try to understand that. So generally prototypes that we define, we simply say some guidelines that we follow, but here it has another meaning that we talk about, right? In the programming language. So what is a prototype? First of all, let's try to understand. In JavaScript, when we talk about that these objects which are there, they actually have a hidden property. And that hidden property, we call it as prototype, which you can only assess using dot underscore underscore prototype underscore underscore. Prototype is nothing, it's just another object that your objects inherited. It's like a blueprint it is inheriting, right? So if you try to assess a property of an object and it's not there, JavaScript look into the prototype. Okay, for example, I must say, if I say that I am looking for something in my pocket, if it is not present in my pocket, it will definitely present in my cabin or a cupboard, right? So when I'm trying to assess a property or a method of an object and it's not present in that where it is looking for, then it inherits from where it inherits. From the prototype it inherits. And who will look? JavaScript will look into that prototype in order to assess. So this is nothing, just another object that your object inherits from somewhere, and like a blueprint. So if I'm trying to assess any property or a method of an object and it's not there, then we use prototype that will look into JavaScript will look into the prototype and will get it done. Is it okay? Do you understand that? I think with example, you will understand it in a more good way, right? Yes. Example, another. Yes, Ankita, definitely. Now, Ankita, do you know some of the concepts from the memory operating system? Do you understand that? Yes. Now, you know, every program that we build or anything that we run on the laptop or computer, we call it as a process. And process require memory, right? So whenever the process initiate, they comes into the main memory, right? And once they finish the task, they will go into the secondary memory again. Is it okay? There's another concept that we use called as cache memory. Sometimes your memory gets full. Somebody says that you clear your cache memory, right? Cache memory will actually hold the data, the file, image, video, anything that you have already opened. Like you surf on internet, you have gone to Google, this data will store in the cache memory, cache memory or cache memory. That means now we are using cache memory to increase the speed because every time the operating system need to process anything, they need memory. And that for this purpose, they need to get the process from secondary memory to main memory, right? But that will to take more time because in order to process secondary memory, they will take more time. This is the reason whenever computer look for something, they first look into the cache memory, which is faster and easier to handle, but yeah, definitely low in amount. That means every time you are searching something on your computer, they actually not going to secondary memory to look because secondary memory is the entire data where you store something now. In main memory, so that is temporary memory. We don't store anything. We store all the files in the secondary memory, right? But we got the concept of cache memory that is in between main memory and secondary memory. That is part of it only, obviously. It's not separately inserted like a RAM. No, this is coming from that only, right? So every time computer system needs to find anything, they will first go to cache memory. And if it is not in the cache memory, where they will search, tell me? They will search in secondary memory, obviously, right? Because if I'm not opened any file, where it will be? It will be residing in secondary memory only. So prototype is something, there are some properties which has been stored in that. So anytime I'm looking for any property, assessing any property of an object, if it's not there, where it will be? It will be in the prototype. From there, we need to inherit. So that prototype is like our secondary memory. Is it okay? Is it fine now? Understandable? It's just another object which inherits like a blueprint. Okay. So let's try to do one example. Let me save the file first of all. 16. Okay. So let me write the script and I'm going to write a function here. Okay. In the script, I'm simply going to write a function. Let's suppose my function name is To print the name, I'm just using this. Okay, I'm just using a regular function. I'm saying this dot name equals to name. Why I'm using this? Because I want to keep the variable name and parameter name same. This is the reason we use this also. Okay, I've taken a function. Otherwise, so I have to define another variable here now with different name in which I'm going to store the data, because I cannot just do this thing now. If my variable name and parameter name is same, I cannot do this thing because system will not understand between these two which one is the variable in which I actually need to store the data. This is why I'm using this to make sure that this is the variable in which this is the variable, name is the variable with this keyword is the one where I need to store the data, and that is for assignment purpose. Okay. So now what I need to do, I'll be doing one thing here. Okay. One thing I'll be doing. Let me use my this print function here. I'll say print dot, I'll say prototype. Okay. I'll say what? Print dot, I'll say prototype. Let me keep the p small, prototype, p small. Okay. And let me do here, say hello. Right? Let me do here, say hello. And then I'm defining a function again. That function will have some data. Okay. Console.log. I'm saying console.log. And let me just print here. Hello. My name is dollar this dot name. Okay. Dollar this dot name. This is what I'm using. I'll explain you also with this. Just let me complete it first of all, and then I'll tell you the difference also. Okay. So I also need to define one more variable. For this, let me take a constant. Let me define here person1 equals to, and new, or I can also take the same name, print1 equals to new, my function print. Okay. And in that, let me define the name as Prabjot. Another constant, I'm taking print2 equals to new, same class print. Let me take another name from the class Ayush. Right? Two variables I've taken just. So with this variable, print1, I'm going to call the function. What is the name of the function? Name of the function is say hello, right? This is what we have defined. And in the say hello, I'm going to pass the parameter that will go there. Okay. Print2 dot say hello, right? Semicolon. So what we are expecting here, right? And what was the point? Now you see here, I have defined a function with the print. I've defined with the function with the name print having one parameter name. So when this print will be called, Prabjot will go in this and Prabjot will assign to this variable. Do you agree with that? This is what we are creating object here. Okay, everyone. We are creating object here, right? With the new. And whenever the object is created and this has been called, so this Prabjot will be transferred to this and a use will be transferred to this now, right? Now, what is the catch? What is the point that we have used? I could have done the simple way also, right? But why I've used this print.prototype, say hello function? What is the purpose? Print.prototype is shared between all the instances I'm using in this class. In this, I'm using two instances. One is of person, one is of Prabjot and one is of Ayush. So otherwise, so I have to define this function for both of this if I'm not wrong. Do you agree with that, na? Otherwise, so I need to get this and print it here itself, na? Do you understand that? If I want to print Prabjot and Ayush also, I need to define this for both of this separately, na? Two functions I need to do that. Do you agree with that? Or otherwise, if I'm calling print also, so I need to do here itself, na? Right? Now, what I'm doing, I have defined this for one time, but I have defined it as in such a way that it will be shared. That means it will be present in the secondary memory that will be shared, this function. So I've used this print dot prototype. Say hello is my function, and for this function I've defined an expression. Now this function will be common to all the instances present in this example. Instances, objects I'm talking about, right? I create as many as number of objects, it will remain, it will be shared. And the function that I've created, say hello, it's not duplicated for every object. It is inherited from the prototype. It is not duplicate. I'm not uh, creating say hello function for this separately, for this separately. Can you see that? If I'm to print this, I have to create a separate function for this also, separate function for this also. But this is not duplicated. This is inherited from where prototype, and where I've defined in the prototype, that means it will remain available for all the instances. This is the reason I'm using that. So only one time I've defined the print where they are defining my variable. This function we are using to declare and define a variable, to define a variable, that is name. And that name we are assessing here. But this is not different for this, also different. This is for common. It's console. It's console.log. Hello, my name is this. This is present in say hello function and using the equals to. But that is defining the prototype where it will remain shared among all the instances of this class. All the instances are what? All this object. So when I'm going to call say hello, this will be called print one, with print one object will be declared. So that will be called. So in print one, Prabjot is going to store in the name, and with print one dot say hello, when I'm going to call this, whose reference? Prabjot. Hello, my name is Prabjot will be called, and here same way, hello, my name Ayush is called. This is how. Let me try it on the browser, and then I'm going to show it to you guys. Let me share my screen. So let me open the console. And you see here. Can you see? Is it visible to you guys? Is it visible? So with prototype, what we have done, we have defined only one function. Now, if I'll take here another variable, print 2, print 3, new, print, let me take another name here. Let's suppose it's Ankita. Now, with this instance, this object, this will be created. And with print 3, I'm going to call say hello function with print 3. So this is going to take this function common from prototype. Now say hello function is not present in this content. Otherwise, if I want to do that, I have to call 3 times. I have to define 3 times. But here I'm defining say hello function one time, where in the prototype where it will be shared among all the instances of my script, this class. So what will happen now? This will help us in printing any number of times. You see? So what we are doing with the help of prototype, with the help of this prototype, what actually we are doing? We are sharing one thing between all the instances, among all the instances that we have defined. And say hello function is not duplicated function. It is inherited from the prototype. Okay. It is inherited from the prototype. Make sense to you guys? Is it helpful with this example? Do you understand prototype? Perfect, Ankita. What about others? Uma, Adarsh, and rest of the learners present in the class. Is it okay? Perfect. Now, after prototype, we need to discuss prototype chain. And what is prototype chain? So let's move back to the code. What is prototype chain? Prototype chain is the one when you assess a property from the prototype. JavaScript look in the object itself first of all. If it is not found, then it will look into its prototype. Every object has the prototype. First of all, JavaScript will look into the object itself. If it is not present in object, then it will look into the prototype. If still not found, if it is also not found in the prototype, maybe we have not defined in the prototype, maybe I have not defined in the prototype, then so obviously it will give me error, right? But let's suppose prototype is defined, but that is not present here. What it will do, it will continue to look it until it reaches the null point that no, it's not present. This is chain. One after another, keep on looking. Like my friends, I have 10 friends, let's suppose. I need to get borrow some money from my friends. I ask first friend, then I'll ask second friend. It's not available with him also. Then third friend, fourth friend. Till the time I'm not able to get, or either I'll get it, or if I'm not able to get, till reaching the end point, which is to get null. So JavaScript, first of all, will look into its own object. If it is not found, then it continues searching it till it reaches null. This is what we say chain. This is we call as prototype chain. Is it okay? I hope you understand the concept. Let me try with an example. Right? Prototype. Let's pause again. I'm defining a script. And in script, let me define an class. Okay. Constant animal. And in that, I'm going to define few attributes. Okay. Let's suppose animal eats. I'll assign, yeah. I'll assign, you can assign any data. That's fine. Let me assign true. I'm defining another class, constant. Let me define rabbit. Rabbit eats. Let me define something. Let me define another attribute. Jump. Jumps. True. Yes. Mm, And another thing I'm doing is underscore proto. Okay. What I'm doing, underscore proto underscore, and I'm saying colon animal, right? Okay. Now console.log, I'm saying rabbit.jumps. With the help of class, I'm trying to assess an attribute. Okay. Now in animal class, I have one attribute eats. In rabbit class, I have one attribute jump. Is it okay? Let me make it comment first of all. Do you understand this thing? This class, one attribute, this class, one attribute, right? Now, Ankita, when I say console.log rabbit.jumps, is it going to print me any value? Yes or no? Is it going to print me any value? It is going to print me true. Perfect. That's really great. Very good. Perfect. Because it has its own property. I'll say console.log animal.eats. Is it going to print me any data? True. Perfect. That's also great. But if I'll say console.log and I'll say animal.jumps, or I'll say rabbit.eats, is it going to print me true? No, it's not going. It will give me error. Do you right? Do you agree? We have not defined it for now. Okay. Now I say I do not want to define. I want to inherit the property of animal class into the rabbit class. How? With prototype chain underscore prototype colon element. What it is? It is we are inheriting animal class into rabbit class. Do you agree with that? Now, whatever the property of animal class are there, they are also going to add in the rabbit class also by default, right? So now if I'll say rabbit.eats, is it going to print me true? Yes, it is going to print me true, right? Because has own, rabbit has own property. Is it okay? We are saying rabbit dot has own host property, that is jumps. First of all, now we also have one more thing, that is acha, that I can simply print afterwards also. Let me comment this. Mm, let me simply just do that. Let me say rabbit dot eats, and let me say, just give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second, guys. I'll come back. Just 1 second, okay? Yeah, just 1 second. Yeah. So now I say rabbit dot eats, but rabbit do not have any properties, but we have inherited now, right, Ankita? Right, others? And we say animal dot eats, but animal dot eats so already have that property now. So it will be true only, right? But if I'll say console dot log, I'll say animal dot jumps. Is it going to print me true? Do animal has any property jumps? No. Then I think it should remain false. Is it okay? So let me open that in the browser and let me share my screen first of all with you guys. Right. So let me just share screen. We have some unexpected semicolon also somewhere. Okay, 1 second. Let me check. Can you see anywhere we have put semicolon, extra semicolon? I think so. Here we have put. It should not come here, no? Yeah, that's my mistake. I think so. That's my mistake. Yeah, it's not. It should not be here. It should be here only. I still have an error. I think it should not be here also on 13th line. I have at 14th line also. Where is it there? Why I'm having an error here? Okay, can you just check why I am having error here? Constant eats true semicolon rabbit. Then okay again jumps. Okay, that's my mistake. There are two now. Two things are there. Sorry. Perfect. Let me share my screen with you guys. Yes. Is it visible to you guys? Ankita, can you see on the screen? Others? Is it okay, guys? Now, we got true, true, true for three things that we have defined. Is it okay? And one undefined because we have not defined any property for this. Do you agree with that? Do you understand that? Rabbit has property jump. We got true. Animal has property eats. That true. Rabbit dot eats got the property because of inheriting. Animal dot jumps do not have that property, does not have that property, remains undefined, false. Is it okay? I hope that it's sufficient to see that how the working of this inheritance has been done. Do you understand that? Can you like relate this example now, Ankita? Other participants in the class? Is it okay? Do you understand that? Is it okay for all of you? Is it fine? Is it helpful to you guys to understand these all examples? Can we inherit the rabbit property in that? For need, we need to do all the same procedure. Ankita, this one, this also, no? We need to write here rabbit. I think we can do that, isn't it? Yes. But what is the concern? We can do that, but what is the concern? See, Ankita, can you tell me what is the concern? Concern is I am trying to, yes, because I'm trying to assess the rabbit class before defining. I'm trying to assess the rabbit class before. This is the reason I've done that to got you the mistake, right? We can assess that, but that need to be defined first of all. Is it okay? We can do that, but the only thing that will get is not defined. This is the reason. Apart from this, we are all good. Make sense to you now? Is it okay? Perfect. So I hope it is good with everyone. And we are left with one thing that we can do in next class. I'll show you the difference between prototype inheritance versus EA6 class. So that we can do in the next class. Is it okay? So I hope that we are good with the today's session. It was a really good and quite understandable. So with the concepts that we have learned in this, so I'm sharing the today's file with all of you so that you can practice and you can work on this. Is it okay? Fine for all of you? Is it helpful? Have you received the file, all of you? Have you received the files? Yes. Is it okay with everyone? Understandable with the work that we have done today? I hope that it was a good session connecting with you. So we'll meet again in the next class and we'll move forward. Okay. Thank you.